All right, good evening, U of T fans. We are back with some League of Legends Intramurals quarterfinals tonight with Inters and Los Ponos Hermanos. I'm joined tonight by Will. And how you doing tonight, Will?
It's a wonderful night. Friday night, just got off 2 long days of classes, 2 long days of midterms. Couldn't be happier to be sitting down, getting ready for some great League of Legends. How are you feeling today, Melon?
Oh, great, man. I joined the stream on short notice. I'm excited to be part of the team and to get to it because, League of Legends is a great time. We have Worlds recently, which is explosive. I'm sure a lot of people went to the watch party down at U of T, checked it out. And now we're going to see if these guys can recreate some of their favorite moments with their skill level here.
And I think they will be able to, Melon. We've got two absolutely astronomically exciting teams. 4.5 enters. I had the absolute pleasure of watching Los Pollos Hermanos clinch that second place spot in their group during the group stage last week. But these are both second place teams in their groups from the group stage. Los Pollos Hermanos going 3-2, tying for that second place spot, and 4.5 enters going 4-1, managing to clinch it once and for all as we get into draft.
Yeah, I believe draft is starting up very soon now, and we could also take a look at the teams themselves, at the player base and all that, see who we got on each side. So take a look at Inters here. We have got a lineup of the Panda, Balak, Sarah Faust, Manskills, and Moon. And over on the other side of the Rift with the Los Pollos Hermanos, we're going to have quite a few other tough characters. Let's take a look at them. And here they are. We've got up in top lane, Ionian Tempest. In the jungle, DMK. In mid lane, Lucians in Paris. Down in the bot lane, it's going to be Mac, the Knack. And then we've nicknamed the last guy here, 1261 on support.
Again.
Okay, and then that should be them as we make our way into the draft. And here we are. Okay, Will, what do we see for these bands here coming out on either side as they get starting here?
There's one character I want to take a look at in particular when we think about this draft for the side of Los Pollos Hermanos. And that's going to be a Poppy band. The Panda, top lane, super lethal on this Poppy. 63% win rate, 200 games played, and it's also a lethal flex pick between top, jungle, and support. But we're seeing some other bands come through. We have Lulu on the side of 4.5 enters, banning away that 1261 Lulu. That was phenomenal appealing last game against Diamond 4 and his 4 carries, as we see a pair of mid laners coming across for Los Pollos Hermanos, banning away some of those mages for Sarah Faust, that being her main caveat when it comes to League of Legends.
Yeah, a lot of bans towards the bot lane there with the supports. So we're going to see the bot lane picks come out now for Int as they do lock in the Jinx. First pick of the entire round here. And on the other side, of course, those mages, as you mentioned, for Sarah Faust. But yeah, we do see the Jinx out in the open here. They have full ability on Los Pollos Hermanos to make some picks in addition to this one here. Counterplay, their own carries. They could also grab their bot lane, set it all up. Who do we expect here from Los Pollos Hermanos? Are they going for the bot lane picks, possibly?
So the one thing I want to take a look at is I want to think about what is Los Pollos Hermanos looking to do. And the one thing I see is we want a strong kind of self-peeling AD carry as we lock in that Yunara. That Yunara, strong wave clear. Once she pops the ult, she gets that ability to dash around and is able to play safe in these 4-1, 1-3-1, late game setups that Los Pollos Hermanos really enjoys. And of course, it's all facilitated through their top laner, through Ionian Tempest. And I'm excited to see maybe a Bruiser come out for Los Pollos Hermanos, like the Fiora, like the Yasuo, like the Yone, like the Aurelia. But we see them index towards the bot lane instead. That's a Yunara coming out for the side of Los Pollos Hermanos. Again, strong in the mid lane, able to keep herself safe in that mid to late. And the Nico for that strong team fight engage.
Oh man, Nico's just an awesome champ to watch too. So much trickery that can be done with them. We saw at Worlds believe it was the wolf trick that they did down in the red part jungle, right? Around the red buff.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We'll see if they can recreate any sort of trick situations like that. And then the other side here, we've got the Malphite coming out. A couple different lanes he can go, but I imagine top lane is where we're going to take this guy. And Alistair in the support role. So both bot lanes are going to be locked in here. Jinx and Alistair versus Yunara and Nico across the Rift.
And that's sort of where 4.5 enters wants to be, where INT wants to be. Picking that, solid rock in the top lane. No pun intended with that Malphite. Going for that strong team fight potential with the Jinx, with the Malphite. Looking to play either team fight or maybe a 4-1. This case, probably edging towards that full team fight comp. Whereas we see on the red side for Los Pollos Hermanos, them locking in the Akali. That signals, you know what that signals to me, Melon? that signals strong side lane pressure. And that's the name of the game for a team like Los Pollos Hermanos. We expect to, and so I think that dictates a couple of the bans coming forward. As we see the Oriana ban first for Los Pollos Hermanos, banning that strong, more of that strong team fight potential from Seraphos. And we're probably going to see some of the more lethal side lane, that dangerous side lane pressure banned away for the side of INT.
Yeah, just 2 roles remaining on either side, so they can kind of target ban these guys best they can. But as you said, Orion's going to get locked in. Jarvan being hovered here in the ban category, and it's going to lock it in against those Polos Hermanos. And the final ban of the day being Mundo, a character that is immovable. I guess I don't want to see a third tank over on the Inter side.
Oh
Then
my
we got
gosh, yeah.
a whole wall of beef at the moment.
It's so hard. It's just so difficult for somebody like the Akali to cut through. And it's also, he can just ignore a lot of that Dinko engage. We see, again, 2 junglers actually being banned on the side of INT, indexing towards DMX. Again, that's 3 out of 5. Like, notably, Melon, that's 3 out of the 5 champions Los Pollos Hermanos played in their qualifying games to the playoff stage. That's the Lulu gone, the Silas gone, and the Jarvan gone. For me, the big impact is that Silas Jarvan paired bannings. That mid jungle duo from the side of Los Pollos Hermanos was able to put up so much pressure up until even the Otacon spawning. And I think that's really what INT was afraid of. As you can see, again, they're going back to that strong team fight, looking to lock in the Wukong for the side of 4.5 Inters. And this is just a classic strong team fight comp against Los Pollos Hermanos, which maybe not so strong in the team fight category, but is going to be able to exhibit some of this beautiful, strong side lane pressure.
Yeah, and this Wukong particularly got me kind of worried here because he's a character. If he gets in there, he can really open up the whole team for the rest of his carries to come on through. That being the Mel and the Jinx to try and find some damage. Along with these tanks, they have such a great presence in each team fight there. And the opposite side, though, as we see, Amumu is going to be the one that's going to have to counter engage, lock these opponents down, make sure there's time for you, Nara and Nico, to get in position, make their work happen. But Akali's got their job cut out from him. But joining them in the engage, we're going to see Yasuo here grabbing that wind wall defensive option against many of these ranged powerful things that we got going on the Inter side here. So yeah, there we go. Full rosters are selected now. Some pretty fun stuff here. I personally don't get to see Yasuo too much on the Rift when I'm casting these games, so that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and that's probably the Yasuo for Ionian Tempest up there in the top lane, fitting to the name, the Tempest from Ionian. That's Yasuo himself. That's exactly what he wants to be looking towards. It's that, hyper mobile, like potential super carry for the top laner. And we're going to see some exciting top lane action. Expect to see a lot of side lane pressure from Lucians in Paris and from Ionian Tempest. And of course, like you said, Melon, just very strong team fight, very strong engage from the side of INT with that Wukong ult, that Malphite ult, and then just follow up with the carries like this Jinx. Crazy high damage.
Yeah, it feels like the early games looking strong for Los Pollos Hermanos as well. Some of these characters can really go toe-to-toe in the 1v1s in their given lanes even. A bit more damage in that kind of early time. We got to see like if Akali's going to be roaming properly here, getting some damage into the situation we see around Dragon, around the Rift Herald, and the Grub Pit and all that. Because like those objectives get more important these years now that we got the feats up in the air in those early stages as well. Something that can really snowball your team ahead if you got those upgraded boots, which are just so coveted these days.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, one thing I kind of want to address, though, that Los Pollos Hermanos is really strong about, because this is what we saw in their last game against D4C, which was they picked this kind of strong skirmishing comp. You see the Yasuo, the Amumu, the Akali, the strong type top side skirmishing in the early game versus a like kind of scaling hard team fight comp. But Los Pollos Hermanos is so good at playing around objective vision and setting up for these objectives, minute and a half, even 2 minutes early, in order to get first setup and capitalize on the vision advantage. And I expect to see lots of that coming forward in this next game and even in the full best of 3.
Yeah, that's right. They're going to have some matches to kind of like get used to each other, see how it goes. And this is not fearless. So some of these characters can be repeated later on. I'm sure that whoever wins out here is going to see their characters just like slammed with quite a few different bans as they get into the second round of this best of 3. But yeah, hearing about that vision control that we see from these guys on those sports tournaments in the past is cool. Both these teams are pretty high seated in their given groups, right? So going to quarterfinals here is going to be an explosive match, and the character's not better than I expect. So it's exciting. The players,
absolutely.
I mean. Yeah.
We're in for an absolute treat. Again, this is not best of 1. This is best 2 out of 3. one thing we always talk about in these best of ones in the group stage is that you don't really get the chance to, adapt game to game, figure out what went wrong game one and adapt for it games two, game three. But here, you get free reign to do as much of that as you want, as much as that as you see fit. And again, both teams, lots of comfort. Malphite for the Panda, that strong control mage in the mid lane for Seraphos, that strong team fighting AD carry in the bot lane for man skills. Lots of comfort on the side of INT, and a lots of comfort on the side for Los Pollos Hermanos.
Yeah, getting the characters you want at a stage like this is just so important because you got to feel comfortable. You've been saying it over and over again. That's what really matters when you're at this point, especially since, yeah, once again, with no fearless, you can keep these characters in your pool as you play out these couple matches here and do what you can, see some really explosive play. Between the two drafts, though, do you have a preference just based on first glimpse here? Who do we think is coming out on top?
I really like this draft from 4.5 Inters. Such a strong team fighting comp, especially in this meta where you're playing towards that 20-minute Otacon, that 25-minute Baron. Your carries are going to hit their second item, even maybe their third item by the time the Baron rolls around. And just being able to unleash all that damage, being able to, be the first one to kind of vomit all over the other team without fear of retribution is just so powerful as we're getting ready to break out onto the Rift for game one between Los Pollos Hermanos and 4.5 Inters. Melon, I'm just so excited.
Same here. It's been a while since I've done some leagues, so let's check this out. Here we are on the Rift as expected. Inters and Los Pollos Hermanos getting to a pretty simple cover each of their bases here. Make sure no one crosses this river. No shenanigans early in the first round.
Yeah, and we can see both junglers opting to potentially start topside, index towards this bot lane. That Yunara, that Jinx, both lethal team fighting ADCs once we get, past the 20-minute mark, 25-minute mark. Both junglers looking to, maybe accelerate them to that point, preparing for these pivotal mid to late game fights as we see a little bit of poking, a little bit of posturing going off in the mid lane.
Yeah, we do notice in the chat there, someone throwing out the command to be nice to each other this match. We're all friends here at U of T, right? Everyone's a student, everyone's working hard all week, and they're here to just play some League of Legends and kind of cool off. But there's some glory to be won. So yeah, it's not all night fun and games until the end.
Yeah, Friday night, sit back. For us spectators, we gotta relax. We see the E-Start coming out for Ionian Tempest, who actually opted to lane swap with Lucians of Paris, getting, that AD matchup into the Mel and getting that AP damage up there on the top lane against the Malphite. That bonus armor from the Malphite passive really can shut down a lot of these melee bruisers like Yasuo. So I really like the swap coming out from Los Pollos Hermanos.
Yeah, I was thinking about that early on in the draft too, about your Malphite, you want to have an AD opponent, as you mentioned, and he's not going to get that. We may be seeing some more swaps back and forth, but for the moment, this is how we're starting up. The damage coming out in the mid lane, of course. In the bot lane, though, a bit of damage onto Angel Boy so far. Lucians of Paris disconnecting. I hope that's not okay. Here we go. Here's the pause. A bit of a shame on that one. Oh man. Okay. Hopefully just like a small issue and he'll be back soon. We don't want to see any big delays in the game, of course. I'm sure it's not a strategy session of any sort either.
Yeah, but I want to spend this time, I guess we get a perfect opportunity to talk a little bit about this lane swap, Melon. Like I was saying, again, Ionian Tempest was supposed to go top lane. Lucians of Paris was supposed to go mid. But again, we're going to see this kind of mind game played throughout the laning phase where both teams try to, outswap the other. Of course, like we talked about before, Yasuo getting able to match up into that Mel, avoiding that brutal top lane matchup against the Malphite in lane. And of course, that Akali wanting to dance around the Malphite a little bit, being able to not have to play into that heavy armor.
Yeah, it's so important because that can be brutal. You can't put a scratch on him as Yasuo right in that early point, and he's gonna keep throwing those little roly-poly wheels at him up in the top lane, and he's gonna be free of all of this displeasure with this swap, right? I'm sure that they're equipped though to make the best of their situation regardless of all that, and they'll get through it, of course. But it is gonna be a bit annoying for either of the two in their unoptimal rematches here, or what do you want to call it?
Yeah, one potential thing I'm also interested in watching is, that bot lane swapping to the top side. We're in a lane swap meta. It is absolutely not unheard of bullying out the top laner or, even sacrificing your top laner, letting them go down some farm, excuse me. and just kind of accelerating your AD carries, giving them an easy path to the second to the third core items, turning them into team fight monsters. Now, I think the lane swap, that bot to top lane swap, benefits one team more than another, and that's going to be 4.5 inters. With that Malphite, I mean, the Akali, the Yasuo, super gold hungry. You don't want to be feeding them up, letting them go down, 2 levels, 40 CS. That would be the nightmare situation for Los Pollos Hermanos.
Oh man, that sounds so bad on paper. I hope it doesn't get to such a large disparity. It's a shame to see like the lane phase go so one-sided, of course, because when we get to that mid game, seeing how they operate these situations with low resources around these objectives is just so interesting typically. And if one team is behind, it's a shame, So let's hope that we don't get to that point. And I think we're getting back to the match very soon here. The pause is coming up, and we got Lucians in Paris in good shape now. Is connection working properly? That's my hope.
I mean, that's exactly what we're hoping for, right? We want to see the best League of Legends possible. I don't think either of these teams wants to win because of, some sort of stupid network issue. Wi-Fi going down, mouse getting unplugged, mouse dying. That's kind of that is the worst case scenario. I was talking about worst case scenarios before. Playing the game, not being able to play the game really is that worst case scenario. As I think we're planning to, get back to live game in just a minute. Like I said, Lucians of Paris all patched up again.
Yeah, I wish we could call it a plan, but unfortunately, it's not. it's all improvisation here, right? With such an unexpected situation. Yeah. Other than that, though, I guess I didn't comment on what I kind of prefer between the two draft teams here. I'm also kind of like I'm partial to the side with the Mumu here over on the Los Pollos Hermanos. Also, I'm currently watching Breaking Bad for like the third or fourth time, so I do enjoy the team name a lot. I know that doesn't really matter to the overall, but just for the fun factor of it, I'm hyped for the Chicken Man to get his W here. So
maybe Gus Spring put up the hit on. Maybe Gus Spring's there, patching up that Wi-Fi for Lucians in Paris. Get that, that fried chicken money, fix the modem, fix the router. Maybe even buy him a better one. But I wouldn't put that past Gus Spring.
He helps the community, I'm sure he'd invest in the local esports scene if he could. if it furthered his own plans, I'm sure.
His own plans. His own plans to, expand his fried chicken empire. You don't mean anything else, do you, Melon?
Yeah, no, he's entirely clean. Yeah, definitely. Oh man. Oh, I think I hear the game audio. That means we might be there. Okay, there we go. The pause has been completed. We're back in it now. I didn't see any details really about what was going on there, but I hope he's all good. And here we are. We're checking it out, and we're down in the bot lane. We missed a bit of poking down on to the side of Man Skills, unfortunately, in bad shape, but Moon is in full force there. Full HP, full resources. DMK making their way down to the bot lane. Here comes the Mumu. He's got the 2 charges on the queue. We see the flash out from 1261 getting knocked away by Moon. Great play by them. Missing the stun. The bandage toss not going to connect by DMK. Here is a Balik to kind of match it up here. First blood still going for 1261 at the moment, unfortunately, as they do finally find their way down into him. But the counter engage, the counter gank is not just working out right now. In the meantime, though, Ionian Tempest to find some damage onto their lane opponents. We're swapping around like crazy right now, checking out all these fights. Direct to Cam. But that's going to be it. First blood and first step to their first part of their feat there, as 3 kills is the requirement.
And that's absolutely huge. But looks like, oh my gosh, Balik getting the solo kill on DMK on that Scuttle Crab. Thankfully for DMK, looks like he was able to kind of get it. We're getting a little bit of a replay here as Balik flashes forwards to, get that solo kill. Amumu goes down as the trades kind of end up even 1-1. Crucially,
yeah,
Melon, that first kill, that first blood on the side of LPH, it went over to that Yunara. And I think that's absolutely massive for the side of Los Pollos Hermanos.
Yeah, keeping on your carry can be so valuable, and a shame there for DMK going down for the crab. He did secure the crab, so he keeps that CS even, but we do see the even kills as well, which is the real highlight, of course, as you've mentioned. Phage purchased for the Wukong in the jungle there. Balik going to be getting some move speed when he hits some people, and we see Moon creeping up here through the vision on the edge. We do have Balik on the other side here. The tornado, the part 3 Q coming out from Ionian Tempest to disengage, bit of damage onto him. Seraphos not deciding to really help out, unfortunately, though. They are a bit uncoordinated in such a situation, but there we go. Wind wall coming out to block that potential snare.
And here comes another part of the bot lane. Both this Nico and this Alistar, very strong roamers. We see Moon getting that kind of first rotation upwards. Didn't really turn out to be that much. It doesn't matter. What I think really matters here is that pressure, As we see Balik sneaking for the invade, stealing away these Raptors. Looks like he's going to get away undetected as Seraphos is falling low, and the Amumu. Looks like we're going to get a little bit of 2v2 here. Ionian Tempest flashes forwards. Seraphos flashes away as the Balak is falling a little bit lower and lower, but the health bars are just so low on the side of 4.5 enters. One auto will do it for the Mel as Balak gets queued again by the Amumu and will finally go down to Ionian Tempest.
Shame there, man. He played the best he could. He did get his mid laner out, so good on Balak sacrificing himself to get their mid lane in good shape. Of course, back on the board, make sure they don't miss so much farmers and make their way back to base here. Teleport coming out from Seraphos in the mid lane, getting back there. Don't want to miss too much. Can't let Ionian Tempest get ahead because Yasuo can be a bit of a menace when he's got some money in his pocket. Typically, he doesn't get strong until 10 deaths, as we know in solo queue. But that's probably not going to be the situation this time around. As the root coming out from the Seraphos here, finds some damage onto their lane opponent here. Those little blasts from the Q just stack up so quickly, hard to dodge as well. Quite a few stacks in there, but they're gonna go for the execute. Not enough stacks so to take down Ionian Tempest, and that's gonna be the ultimate spent for Seraphos.
Yeah, I mean, Ionian Tempest does have this teleport. I
don't
know necessarily how strong this trade is going to be. Looks like Seraphos was able to cancel the base once, maybe caused Ionian Tempest to miss a couple more minions. But again, that TP, he's not going to skip a beat, get right back to where he started once he TPs back to this mid lane.
Yeah, there they go. See some pings coming out from the side of Balak into the enemy jungle right now as well. They're maybe setting up for drag, possibly. Everyone's on the map, though, so they got to be careful. Here comes some deep wards into the try there. Man skills, once again, getting quite low. They got to be worried because, Angel Boy and 1261 are in really good shape here in the bot lane. And we saw how that last gank went down as the disparity between the CS gets a bit larger down here. Just about 10-ish between the two of them. Man skills versus Angel Boy.
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, what we were talking about before. Getting that gold onto your carries allowed Angel Boy to buy that early call, only amplifying that gold lead even more. It's only about, 9-10 CS lead at the moment. But, once you hit that 100 CS breakpoint for the call, that 350 gold injection, that's a lot of gold, and that's a really scary Yunara, especially with this much control in the lane. With, like you said, man skills falling super low. So it looks like Los Pollos Hermanos managing to steer that bot crab, potentially looking to maybe even take the dragon as DMK looks to start it up.
Unfortunately, sitting on an enemy ward here. DMK getting to work on it. Amumu is kind of slow here, percent damage taking up as best you can. They're going to get really low on the resources with the mana there as well as you do get to the end of it. So hopefully no one comes looking. In the meantime, though, Balak is up in his top jungle right now. He's very far. They're kind of just letting it happen because they know the pressure from Angel Boy and 1261 is so large right now. It'd be difficult to try and counter into this dragon. Boy Grub's coming up now, though. Balak in the vicinity of them. So he takes a look top lane real quick. And there we go. Red team, we got the Los Pollos Hermanos securing the first dragon of the Rift.
It looks like 4.5 enters wanting to trade that first objective 1-for-1. As we see a little bit of a skirmish, Ionian Tempest chasing down Balak, but backing off. Now, this has got to feel really bad. 4.5 enters. You got that first dragon if you're Los Pollos Hermanos. You watch your opponent take away that first dragon. Normally, you want to handshake trade those first two objectives. They're not going to be able to do that on the side of 4.5 enters. And especially when your team fight is this strong, you really, every objective just means just even that much more.
Yeah, such a shame. Brutal. Losing both of them is so tough. Personally, if I ever jungle, I hate to lose one or the other, right? But here we go. Balak coming back around to take a look at it. Maybe he can hit the last grub, but unfortunately, he's going to get bandage tossed here, going for a flash to get himself out of there. Just it's just something that wasn't worth it in terms of his expenditure here, making his way back. Well, back to the jungle route for him as we do go back to the neutral here. A bit of a gold lead, just about 1K-ish now for those Pollos Hermanos, and the objective lead towards those feats as well, which is a huge shame.
Yeah, I mean, even though the gold difference looks to be 1K, a little bit less than 1K, doesn't really matter when you're also down a couple of plates, as Angel Boy and 1261 managed to get there first, as well as a handful of objectives, like that first dragon, like those first grubs. Melon, I really like Los Pollos Hermanos' start to this game.
Oh yeah, they've got a really good spot right now. Ionian Tempest is playing really well into this Seraphos matchup right now, as we got Balak coming around here trying to find some sort of gank. In the meantime, bit of skirmishing going down there. I do believe he blocked something with that, but here we go. We're holding on to the root to secure the kill on Ionian Tempest. We got DMK making his way down here. He's in between Balak and Seraphos, unfortunately, though. He's gonna miss a banish toss, and this ultimate damage from Balak is just gonna keep accruing as he finds a kill on a failed ultimate. Curses that mummy, getting wasted too. Such a valuable button that you want to keep in your pocket. And okay, that is kind of like the catch up here. See the first feet go towards the side of 4.5 inches. They got the 3 kills before Los Padres Hermanos managed to get it themselves.
And oh man, now the returns, they're gonna like these returns, that's gold investment on the Seraphos. It's going to see the investment made, like the investment's going to be realized right away as we see Seraphos getting the full Blackfire Torch. Huge damage spike for the this next upcoming Drake fight. You know, any skirmishes that manage to break out in the mid to
oh my god
in the mid lane, and you see like there you go, you see it, right? That's a whole crap ton of damage, and that's one ability rotation from Seraphos onto the Yasuo.
Well, we got Balak looking bot lane here. Unfortunately, he's going to be spotted by something there. They've got the vision above their character model at the moment. But 1261 backing up here. No, I think, was that a glitch maybe? I'm not sure they actually saw him. But we've got DMK in the area now. They got a ward in the tri-bush here. Moon going to be just under the tower, not showing their care right now as Balak is actually down there. Yeah, it's a glitch actually. There is a vision indicator above Balak's head, but it is not true. As we make their way back up here and they realize that Man Skills has gone back to do some shopping, coming back with a best friend sword and some attack speed as well.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, looked like almost Angel Boy 1261 wanting to almost dive that 1 HP Jinx. But, you know, of course, Balak there as Seraphos comes out down with ult and manages to get another solo kill onto Ionian Tempest. And that's 3 kills over to the Mel. This Mel's going to be such a problem. I mean, you know, that's your hard scaling mid lane mage. Super accelerated with 3 kills on the board.
Yeah, as you said, like that Blackfire Torch, it's ridiculous. Like as soon as they touch you with the Q, you're taking so much burn damage in addition to that. It's just hard to stay alive. Though that Yasuo passive getting them that shield is not going to be enough to keep them sustained through the entire laning phase, it seems. As the pings are coming out in the bot lane here, we're going into the fight mode. Man Skills is just caught between everyone right now. His buddy Moon is just nowhere to be found. The entire task of Moon to keep him alive is just not panning out.
Oh yeah, and that's, you know, a little bit of recourse for the side of Los Padres Hermanos, getting that kill, accelerating Angel Boy even more. You can see getting a little bit of gold graph here. Looks like we're getting, you know, 1 to 2k advantage in the mid lane and in the bot lane as red side LPH, the Panda flashes over the wall trying to escape from Lucians and Paris and Ionian Tempest. Going to be a bit of an auto battle here, but as you know, the ult comes down out from Ionian Tempest as the Panda R's out. You see a trade of ultimates, but you know, Melon, that Balfight ult is now gone.
Yeah, super valuable button to be missing as we get the bot lane fight here. Balak coming through with their ultimate, gonna knock everyone up as the Monkey King here. Angel Boy running best they can. Moon leading the charge, gonna flash in and get that knock up, make sure they can bunch him back into the team as Man Skills starts accruing the damage here in the rocket mode. They're gonna play the alcove best they can, but the ward is on the other side. Damage is slowly going. Okay, Man Skills, you gotta watch out as a panic flash comes out. You can just see right there in front of us how much stronger Angel Boy was prior to that fight. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. What an action-packed game this is so far. And like that's exactly what happens. You know, Los Padres Hermanos will punish you for being a little bit greedy, even slight overstep. You know, Man Skills having to blow the flash to successfully get the kill. As we see the ult coming up from DMK, locking down Seraphos as, oh my gosh, reflect the bandage toss and is forced back into the fight. But will manage to get the kill onto the Yasuo as the Panda TP's in, and Seraphos managed to get the double kill with that ultimate. And 5-0 to the mid lane.
That is a disaster interaction right there. They were baiting so hard, but they lost so much life on the Ionian Tempest, unfortunately. So it's going to be Malphite coming in to help secure the kill. Down the bot lane here, a bit of a sneak on to Man Skills, trying to back in the tri-bush. Not going to work out. The vision control, as you mentioned, for Los Padres Hermanos is just excellent this game. We see we got 20 score down in the bot lane for the support versus the 10 score of Moon. They're just getting oppressed so badly, though, as we take a look in top lane, of course. But, man, this is not going their way right now, as just we've got the actual beast here, Seraphos, walking down their opponents, making sure they can take out whoever they can and coming out on top every single time with no deaths across the board.
Yeah, this Mel looking like that Mel we saw back in Worlds 2025 finals, you know, just last week. You know, looks like the Panda, but meanwhile in the top lane, DMK and Lucians and Paris looking to get onto the Malphite. Oh my gosh, as the Panda ults out and manages to get followed by the bandage toss, as we also get a dive down in the bot lane, and Seraphos gets shut down by the Nico. Balak flashes in, looking to kill Angel Boy, as we see also, you know, 2 skirmishes going on at the same time. Balak manages to kill Angel Boy, as 1261 is going to maybe go down, maybe not. Looks like Peel Pop tried to escape, but it's not going to be enough as Manskills manages to pick up his second kill.
Okay, going pretty even in the bot lane there. We do see both players on the side of LPH going down, unfortunately. But yeah, just that that bandage toss onto the Malphite ultimate. He's going for a ride there, man. That's crazy.
You know,
Yeah.
build your own Blitzcrank cook.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, we do see it getting evened up a little bit now, as the gold is pretty similar at the moment. If we go take a look at the objectives too, who's got the objective? What do you call it? The feat right now. Who's got 3? So we got 2, and is it 3 for the side of 4 inches right now? I think they got the grubs, they got the heralds. Yeah, so
And
boots should be
that
available,
return.
right? Yeah, so boots are available, I think, for upgrade. Because they got the 3 kills
4.5
first. Or...
Inters, 4.5 Inters did get that feat of worker, that first to 3 kills with that, you know, via that early bot lane skirmish. Looks like feats are 1-to-1 at the moment. It's going to be all about who can get this first tower. As you see, I think I saw that blue side mid lane tier 1 fall really, really low. I think that's going to be such a prime target. Bot lane tier 1 also falling super low. All the other towers on the side of Los Pollos Hermanos still relatively healthy, especially with Shelly about to come down from DMK. I fully expect to go feats the way of LPH.
Yeah, that's right. And I was mistaken. It was the... Okay, here we go. We're back in mid lane here, though. Taking a look at what's going on. We got the fight going through. Ionic Tempest diving in. Just want to get that shutdown so badly on Seraphos, but they can live with a sliver of HP, unfortunately. As down the bot lane, the action is still going. Man skills, as always, in really bad HP thresholds right now. Angel Boy and 1261 taking a look. Here comes the Super Mega Death Rocket trying to find some damage to stop this tower push, but the minion wave barely survives, and they do secure the tower, getting the feat for their team.
And looks like it's going to be a little bit close to Seraphos, you know, hitting that mid lane turret. It's going to fall really low. A little bit disappointing if you're on the side of 4.5 Inters. But again, like we were talking about in the draft, Los Pollos Hermanos indexing towards these strong, you know, early skirmishing champions like the Aswell, like the Akali. You're probably really happy if you're on red side at the moment, as it looks like, oh, we're getting dive into the bot lane as Lucius and Paris ulti's out, trying to get out just what sliver of HP left. And ulti's back over the wall. What a move from Lucius and Paris, but it's not going to be enough as Balak manages to get the shutdown, managed to get that kill. He also escapes on just 1 HP himself.
Second time in the last couple months you've seen a sliver of HP being the survivable limit there. Just so lucky on the side of 4.5 inches right now. So they're up quite a few kills. The gold advantage is minute. It's just about under a K now, but everything matters as the feats are on the side of the opponents, so they got to do what they can to get the money. But they're making their way through now. We do see that the bot lane is hiding down in the alcove as Ionic Tempest makes her way down here. A bit of a lane swap in this mid-game point here. I believe this duel probably goes in the side of the Ionic Tempest here, as we have the Q3 coming through, gonna get the knock up into the ultimate, and they're up against their old rival, the Panda, who's in full armor mode right now, gonna get tickled, but as little by little it's gonna work out, as the Panda doesn't have the damage to close it out themselves. And there they go. We do have Seraphos in the meantime. Here comes the flash out. He's walking into an entire horde of opponents though, and that's gonna be it for Ionic Tempest as the bait is successful.
Yeah, you know, it may have not worked out for Ionian Tempest, but I don't think anybody really expected the Yasuo to absolutely demolish the Panda in the 1v1. You know, the Yasuo absolutely demolished the Malphite. Of course, Malphite, the Panda, forced a flash out of the way. He is building a little bit of MR with, that Holy Radiance, but you see, now he's starting to stack the armor, as it looks like Angel Boy is getting dove.
Yeah, big fight under the tower here at the tier 1. Here we go. They're making way through here. Turret going down another lane entirely. All the stacks being accrued. We do see Seraphos popping the ultimate, trying to find something, but not at the moment. Here we go. Here comes the ultimate from Nico, chasing down Seraphos. This is a shutdown, I think. They're going to give it to DMK. And there we go. DMK finding the killing spree onto their opponent. In the top lane, though, Panda taking out their opponent, Lucius in Paris. And they have a pretty free drag right now. Lots of their opponents are off the map. Ionic Tempest find the last straggler on the opposite side here, that being Man Skills, cutting out these Raptors, chasing down into the bot. But I think they're going to run out of road in a moment here. Ooh, dodging the Q3. Not bad. And there we go. The Flame Chomper's coming down to disengage, but doesn't matter. In the meantime, the drag is getting picked up. The second Drake for the side of LPH, and in the top lane we got a tower kill for the Panda as he hits the back, lets the okay, just for the taunt, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, it's these scrappy fights, as looks like as Moon goes on an Ionian Tempest. but maybe he's going to be able to walk out. Looks like it's a tense situation, but Ionian Tempest gets out with his life, and it's really these scrappy fights that are going the way of Los Pollos Hermanos. It's that botch dive from the side of 4.5 Inters that gets the MK. I think it's his triple kill. It looks like he pops the Herald in the mid lane, looking to get a little bit of mid lane pressure. See if ping's coming down towards the top side. Los Pollos Hermanos want that Otacon. You know, and again, scrappy fights going the way of Los Pollos Hermanos. Hopefully when we see some more, you know, formalized team fights, it's going to go away the 4.5 Inters. At least that's the hope. As they have to push through so much darkness. Now, this is something we were talking about in Draft Melon. Again, Los Pollos Hermanos having such strong vision control.
Yeah, they're just, this trap is set right now. They got 1261 coming around the edge here. Angel Boy hiding in the back, getting ready for the right moment to strike as we do go into fight mode here, taking a look at what everyone can see. And DMK up in the top there, but here comes the Nico ultimate, going to find one opponent. Not going to be enough though, as the counter engage is coming along. Moon leading the charge there. Seraphow's getting out with quite a bit of life there. Not as much as they'd like, but they're hitting that back. They know that they've taken down one of the critical ultimates in the form of 1261's Nico ultimate, and they're going to take this as an opportunity to start to Otacon. Not all the opponents are gone though. They do still have some time to try and re-engage here to make their way back. DPS is slow initially here, but we got Man Skills and Seraphow's joining the fray here, taking it down steady but surely, and it seems like they're just giving. LPH is going to give this one up.
And what a momentum shift over to the side of out of the side of 4.5 Inters. You know, Angel Boy getting that mid lane tier 2 as kind of compensation, but that's not a trade you really want to be making, especially at that 20-minute mark. Otacon, arguably the most important objective. I say the most important objective in the game. And that's a huge momentum shift back to the side of 4.5 Inters. Now they've got to be feeling pretty good about their situation.
Yeah, it's still tied up gold wise, of course, but like objective wise, it feels tied up as well. So it could be anyone's game here. It's tough. If we look at the itemization at the bottom here, there's quite a bit more farm in the form of Angel Boy. You know, they're quite impressive there, zoning off with the Nico all game, so they got a bit more in their pocket. The second item getting built for Jinx very soon here, and the boot upgrades are not purchased for many of them just yet. We do see, of course, Nico grabbing that Ionian upgrade, trying to find the extra CDR. They got the rocket belt ready to go, so there's quite a bit of an arsenal here. But you know, as always, Seraphos is someone to watch. You know, they're so much further ahead than everyone else in the game. They've got 3 completed items, the Rabadons, of course, so they're looking really strong right now, and that's going to be someone to watch for sure. Panda walking his way out here. Ping's coming out from these sides here as they're getting towards the Dragon Pit, spawning in a while, of course, but not too close.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it just a couple of minutes ago, like, you know, 30 seconds ago. We got the little bit of a gold graph snapshot. Seraphos is 2,500 gold. Oh my gosh, 3,500 gold, dare I say, up on Ionian Tempest. That's almost a full Rabadon. That's crazy. Seraphos is so lethal in any of these fights. Seraphos manages to land 1 E into Q into R combo. That's a whole backline deleted. That's your frontline chunk to half. And that's going to turn up any fight around any objective, or, you know, doesn't even have to be an objective. Seraphos is just going to delete and melt everybody they see.
Yeah, back to the middle here. You gotta watch him, of course. Man Skills helping out with some poke here. Here comes Balak alting. Gonna stack it with the Pandas. A mountain coming through. There we go. Angel Boy getting caught as well. This is going so well for the side of 4.5 Inters. They're making the charge here. Flame Choppers to wrap it up. Triple kill for Man Skills. Gonna get some money back onto their carry here. Hyper carry. The original hyper carry, Jinx, of course. She gets strong. Your team is looking good. You got such a good front line. There are bounties across the board for all these players on the side of 4.5 Inters right now. So there is, of course, a clapback possible. It's going to be a bit of a road as they are going to look to besiege this middle turret here. Lucian's in Paris, the only one waiting until Ionian on the edge here. Going to throw out that Q3, try to find something, but the minions, it's tough. You know, Seraphos has got that poke potential. Stacks will accrue as always. Going to, clap back, reflect the damn Q3 into Ionian Tempest's face.
Yeah, but Ionian Tempest manages to escape with pretty much a sliver of life, managing to barely win wall that reflected Yasuo Q away. And, you know, just a couple minutes ago, we saw that big team fight. I kind of have to eat my words there a little bit, because I was just talking about how strong Seraphos is. But, oh my gosh, the rest of 4.5 Inters is just so strong, as 1261 steps up a little bit and instantly gets deleted. Balak picking up another kill. And 4.5 Inters are going to look towards the dragon.
Yeah, they're trying to take drag 2 here, as we do have DMK working on the blue buff in the meantime. No option to steal, as they're just so strong right now, and they're gonna wrap it up for the side of 4.5 Inters. Gonna find Ione in the jungle here. Got the blast pod to take him out of there, though. It's just Moon and Balak just invading right now. They're pretty strong. They have the CC chain they need. They got man skills waiting until Windwall coming out, but there's the ultimate from the Monkey King. Gonna get disengaged by the sad mummy there as he finds something. DMK is dangerously low. Unfortunately, they're gonna re-engage with the bandage toss, find his way in man skills, wrapping up a kill. We just have teleport coming down to this tier 2 right now, but they're gonna be the only last defender in the situation. As actually Angel Boy arrives as well, but 2v4 is not so optimal. Is there 5 of them there? Yeah, 2v5 is not gonna work out. You gotta be careful here.
It doesn't matter how strong any of your characters are, you're not really going to be winning those 2v5s. As we see again, just that team fight power out from 4.5 Inters, starting with 1261 getting caught. They've gotten caught a couple of times this game. First around that one-man ult on Seraphos going a little bit too deep. This time getting caught just face checking a brush. It's not really where you want to be. It's a little bit painful. Nico, while in many ways is your main engage, if you're Los Pollos Hermanos, you do have that bandage toss over from the Amumu, but when you're disguised as a minion, disguised as a ward, that surprise factor is absolutely invaluable, especially when your team fight's a little bit weaker. I really got to say, 4.5 Inters have taken kind of almost a chokehold on the game. The gold graph, it says there's only about a 4K difference. Now, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of gold, but, frankly, Melon, this feels like more of a 6K gold lead, a 7K gold lead, or even an 8K gold lead.
Yeah, with the mid carry being so far ahead, it's tough because they can just follow their tanks into so many different situations and get stuff done. See Panda farming in the bot lane here. We do have the Baron up at the moment. We have both teams kind of in the area. More so, Los Pollos Hermanos trying to take a look at it. They got some red wards coming through. Going to get some vision denial, hopefully. But it's tough when, like, the fight, you have to pick just the exact moment right now. Taking a look at the vision itself, it's quite dark on the map for them, as we've been seeing all game. But it doesn't matter because they keep just brute forcing into the right situation here. 1261 across the wall here. Moon gonna find him at the moment, making their way through. Here comes the engage. Monkey King coming through, gonna knock up so many different opponents. They are alone at the moment, though. They need some support here. I think they're running into Angel Boy off screen right now as they make their way back into it. Here we go. Another knock up and double kill for Balak from the jungle. There we go. And just, that's an entire ace. All 5 dead. Everyone's standing for the side of 4.5 Inters. And oh my gosh. Take a bit of a replay here to see what happened to Angel Boy, it seems, because he was off screen as he's trying to bother Moon here on the way into the fight, but they need to be kind of in the thick of it as we see man skills and him dueling at the moment. This is just a replay, of course. Almost finding him, but the flash in is going to secure it, and man, just a blowout towards Los Pollos Hermanos.
Absolutely, that's a 5-4-0 team fight wipe for 4.5 Inters. We were talking about how the gold lead felt like, I mentioned before that the gold lead felt like it was 5, 6, 7, like it was only 5K, but it felt like 6, 7, 8K. Now it's almost 10,000 gold. And now 4.5 Inters. This is an absolutely dominating lead. Gold leads across the board as they take the top lane tier 2, injecting just even more gold into the veins of the Wukong and the Malphite. This top side trio of the Malphite, Wukong, Mel. Strong team fight and just taking a stranglehold on this game.
Yeah, they have to go for something, right? Because like the defense, they're probably going to lose that too because there's enough poke coming out from 4.5 Inters that it's kind of hard to stop that. But we haven't seen such a situation just yet at like the tier. The inhibitor turrets, they're coming up though. I'm sure that siege is going to be happening eventually because the Baron is available for them. They have the buff. The whole team is holding it right now. We do see the reflect on the Q3 once again, the snare coming through the root, and that's going to be such an easy situation for Balak and Seraphos to wrap up as they push down into his bot lane here. They do have Panda hanging out in mid, keeping the buff active for these minions here. Very difficult character to deal with. They do have that MR, they have that tankiness in the armor as well. They're barely bothering him. The percent damage will add up little by little, I guess. They do have a lot of buying lots of time for the rest of 4.5 Inters to come on in, make their way through. Curse of Sand might be coming through, gonna catch everyone, but it doesn't matter. Just a bit of a bothering, honestly, because like Panda he is the mounted dude. He's the immovable object, makes his way through. He's doing his job. The team is a good job pushing up together here, covering all their bases. The 2 lanes are definitely highly pressured. Root coming through. I think he just catches him barely. Seraphos hitting that Q to close it out.
Oh my god, like we were saying, that Mel puts so much damage. But if I'm Los Padres Hermanos here, this is such a hard game to navigate. Your Nico got caught, instantly had to blow, blew her ultimate on the Malphite. That Malphite just doesn't take damage. And then your Amumu gets caught out. Amumu's forced to ult just to stay alive. And goes, but it doesn't matter because he goes down just, 2-3 seconds afterwards. In the future, if I'm Los Padres Hermanos, I'm kind of in panic mode right now. I'd probably look towards some sort of death brush, some sort of cheese, because 4.5 Inters team fight comp is just way too strong for them at this point.
Yeah, inhibitors down too. They're going to be locked up in the base even more than they were already. Third Drake coming through as well. We do have Baron quite a ways off because the buff is still persisting on some of these players even, so don't worry about that. But yeah, I think the push just has to continue here if they want to get something done. Because you can't let the game go too long, right?
13,000 gold lead. It's going to be a while before Los Pollos Hermanos manage to catch that up. And one person I really want to highlight in this game has been Manskills. I mean, Manskills has been such a force in these team fights. Like you said before, the OG hyper carry. It's the hyper carry of yesterday, hyper carry of 10 years ago versus hyper carry of today. Jinx versus Yunar. And it looks like Jinx is going to be coming up on top in this game one. Jinx, we saw in that one pivotal mid lane team fight, Angel Boy dashed forward into Jinx, kind of playing this game of chicken, challenging Manskills to the 1v1. Sure, Seraphos came there in the end and maybe bailed out Manskills, but it didn't matter because for my money, Manskills was going to win that 1v1 no matter what. And this Jinx, such a problem. 9-3, 4 items, looking to quickly get the 5th. Maybe that's a Guardian Angel then. That Jinx is just not ever dying, as it looks like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. That's a fight down here. Is that the Crypt Bloom at the end there? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Full build for the Mel. I mean, Ionian Tempeus just absolutely gets popped. 2 items to 6. Talk about an individual gold lead. It doesn't get more brutal than that, Melon. It absolutely doesn't.
Yeah, they got to make their way towards the win here soon, though. Like, I mean, obviously, it's hard for them to catch up and everything over those Los Hermanos, but, like, they're in such a powerful position, they got to start pushing a bit harder. Because, we want to see this get to the next round, of course, and it's a shame to just play with your food this long, right? Yeah, it's hard to clap back against this 20 kill deficit. Making their way through, going through this jungle here, pinging into the red buff, going to grab for themselves, of course. And in top lane, Lucian and Paris going to get the teleport back out of there as he saw the opponents coming from every single which way.
Yeah, I mean, yes, 4.5 Inters need to close out this game, but they're also just squeezing, every last resource out of Los Porros Hermanos. Lucian and Paris forced to TP away, as it looks like maybe we're going to see a mid lane fight breakout. No, as both teams kind of back off. 4.5 Inters getting that mid push, playing on 2 lanes, this mid and this top lane, potentially looking to triple inhib, get this top lane tier 3 and the inhibitor, as Lucians and Paris DMK in 1261 look to make their stand.
Here we go. Siege time in the inhibitor turret. The final inhibitor turret up for the side of LPH. Here we go. Not going to touch him at all. Just going to let it get taken away. Inhibitor itself standing, but they're going to come back around, I'm sure, soon as these snares are coming through. Trying to find something, but not at the moment. Inhibitors respawning in other areas. About halfway in the mid lane there. Bot lane probably a bit sooner as they come back around. You got to watch out, though, here for Seraphos. They are caught out of position right now. If we want to take a look over there, we do see them rocket belting into it. Gonna get snared on the way and killed.
Oh my
Ridiculous. God. Okay. All right, that's just so unfortunate there. They tried their best to catch him, though. That's what you got to do sometimes, right? Here we go. We're up in the top lane, though. The inhibitor is getting beat up a little bit. We have Panda in the front. Ballad coming through, making his way, get that hit into the opponents there with the ultimate. Crystal Sad Mummy coming through. So many people getting quite low here. Angel Boy has lots of time to work, but Manskills is pushing the advantage, flashing through, catching those kills. Gonna have to contend with Lucians and Paris, missing the Shuriken, unfortunately. But here we go. We see the ultimate coming through. Gonna rock belt as well, and the kill goes down for the side of 4.5 Inters to close out the game, take down the Nexus, and send it to round 2.
Oh my goodness. We have so much to talk about, Melon. What a game 1. What a statement made by 4.5 Inters. That was a brutal game. That was absolutely brutal.
It was hard to watch. I liked how even it was in the beginning, there, like we had them losing some of the lanes and such, but then it just came back around. They showed their tenacity. So I want to really kind of point out Manskills. They had a very difficult time getting zoned out by the likes of Nico and the Lunar there, right? So it's just kind of tough to kind of get through that situation. But then, Moon, they really woke up when they kind of teamed up with Balak later on. Alistair plus Wukong can just kind of roam around, get lots of kills, get lots of stuff done, and it kept working.
Oh yeah, I mean, like every player on 4.5 Inter is playing an absolutely massive role. Whether it's the Panda, giant rock in the top lane. You saw multiple times those Poros Hermanos kind of make that desperation play, trying to catch out the Panda, who can just has the freedom to just kind of waltz in, do whatever he wants. We saw a couple times they blow the Nico up, they blow the Amumu up, they unload all the damage they've got, and the Malphite walks out on 60-70% HP, pretty unfazed. Such a difficult game for Los Poros Hermanos to navigate, and I really hope we see some adaptation from them.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure the draft will go a different way as well. We'll see what they can do with some of the swaps and all that. But in terms of bans, I'd say that Mel, Mel is a fair ban, like especially if it's into a melee character, right? Oh man, getting poked all lane phase, getting just kind of like, dude. There's situations where like at the end there, we see 1261 trying to sneak up on her in the jungle there, trying to get a kill, but they're getting rooted along the way and just blown up from off screen, dude. Off screen is one of the most powerful things you can do, right? You can't even see where you're being killed from. It's tough. Like, I hope we don't see that again.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a problem because if you leave up the Mel, if you ban away the Mel moving into this game too, what are you freeing up for Seraphos to play? What are you banning? Because, if you remember draft in game 1, Los Poros Hermanos, they banned away 3 mid laners. They banned away the Vlad, they banned away the Syndra, and they banned away the Ori. So what is Seraphos going to get the opportunity to play if this Mel ban goes through? They'll be able to get either the Syndra, the Azir, the Ori. There are 3 most played champions this season. These control mages, high DPS team fight control mages. Doesn't just have to be the Mel. And it's such a problem for Los Poros Hermanos to think about.
Well, we're going to see what their champion pool is very soon, as we're going to take a quick break here and get ready for the next round, give the players a chance to drink some water, give the casters and the prod a moment to drink some water themselves, and get back to it shortly, okay? So we're going to see everyone soon for round 2 of these quarterfinals. All right, welcome back, U of T fans. We just watched the first round of these quarterfinals here between the good old Los Poros Hermanos and the 4.5 Inters. We saw it go the way of the 4.5 Inters, and it was a pretty explosive game. I'm once again, of course, Will is still here with me, and we are checking it out. Excited for this next draft, of course. Should
Oh
be good.
yeah, hopefully we're getting into draft soon. But oh my god, if you had to be there, that's all I'll say. That game one, was close in the beginning. Maybe Los Paros Hermanos taking a little bit of that lead, but really explosive on the side of 4.5 Inters, taking it all the way, extending the gold lead to 14K by the end, and
Holy.
really making a statement on this series as they move into match point, looking to qualify for the semifinals of this intramural.
Yeah, watching Sarah Faust hold all those items over top of good old Ionian Tempest, it's just brutal, man. And like the damage from off screen, I can't keep talking about Mel enough. It's a pretty controversial character to these months that they've been out and all that. And before her mother Mbessa was always tough. But yeah, the characters get crazier and crazier these years, and it's cool to see these players really make the most of them. So we're gonna see if there's any side swaps and such. We'll see when the draft is ready. Should be good, but I believe it's the same sides this time around, is what I'm being told. And here we are into the draft as well.
And critically, Melon, that means Los Pollos Hermanos selected the red side, opting for that
Yeah.
R5 counter pick. The question is, who is it going to? You got a lot of lethal players who can, really abuse that counter pick. You have players like Ionian Tempest, who has his pick of the litter in terms of top lane bruisers. You have Lucians and Paris, who has that super deep champion pool. You have 1261, who can index into all kinds of supports. But, looks like bans are kind of staying the same as last game, as we see 2 mid laners taken away from Seraphos and 2 supports taken away from 1261.
Yeah, we see the bands go in the same direction as last time. I believe these are identical. So these characters are like a must not have on the Rift. I hope we don't see the same selections of the characters themselves, but there we go. Here's the first adaptation. We see the Mel coming down because, yeah, it was ridiculous. That was just unplayable at some points. So no more Mel.
That means there's 3 bans going the way of Seraphos, demanding that respect after such a dominant performance in game number 1. As we see Jinx locked in for 4.5 Inters, looking to kind of rebuild the same comp as last time. Again, screaming this kind of really strong late game team fight composition. As I hope Los Paros Hermanos opt to, change it up just a little bit. Same bans. Hopefully, we'll see some different champions.
Yeah, as we see what they can do to switch up with this. I think the Unara was pretty good in lane against Jinx, though. That wasn't an issue, I'd say. They were definitely up in terms of items for most of the game, and gold even. Another zoning support could definitely work once again. But here we go. Smolder being the new selection for the side of Los Poros Hermanos. Gonna cook up Jinx, hopefully, with that long range flame bubble thing that he shoots off. Which support is gonna be complementing, though? We may see that in a moment.
So now the Smolder pick is really curious to me because for Los Boys Hermanos, this is a flex pick. Yes, we expect it to go to the bot lane the way of Angel Boy, but Lucians and Paris has played Smolder mid before, has played Smolder in these solo lanes. But, we see the Talia come in, and that kind of solidifies it. We're expecting the Smolder to go into the hands of Angel Boy. Talia locked in for Lucians and Paris. Super strong roaming potential, opting away from, that mid lane assassin we saw him on Akali last time, opting for the mage this time, looking like we're going to be drafting a different comp. Whereas 4.5 Inters, maybe they're going the same way. Exactly the same comp as before. Jinx into Malphite, and maybe we'll see something like the Alistar come up next. Get that same comp in rotation. That core kind of team fighting duo, as the Nico's taken away from 1261. Looks like Moon is going to be on engaged duty this time. You've got such a strong team fighting comp here for 4.5 Inters, and that's really been the name of the game for them. this
I think a
series.
really big dynamic difference that could happen this game too is that so we had the lane swap last game. We may not have the players in the opposite lanes this time. So we'll have the presence evolutions and parents in mid lane, see how they play the bot half of the map, as opposed to how Iona and Tempest was doing, because Iona and Tempest may be a bit more primed for top lane, that 1v1 solo up there. And here comes the second set of bans. So, but more Kaiser getting locked in. More Kaiser was hovered during the first game for the side of LPH after Malphite was picked, but they ended up switching over to Akali. So I guess they're going back to their original decision to grab up the Mord.
And I really like this adaptation from Los Pollos Hermanos. We were talking about it first game. One of the reasons they had to execute the lane swap was to avoid the really detrimental AD matchup into Malphite. This game, no such thing is going to be needed. As you know, 2 AP solo laners, both of those will do just fine against the Malphite. You know, the Talia will get to dance around. Mordekaiser are going to be able to stat check the Malphite in the early game. I think you're pretty happy if you're on the side of Los Pollos Hermanos with your adaptation. As we see a couple of bands coming through, Mumu for INT for 4.5 enters, and Dr. Mundo goes where he does not get to go where he pleased this time on the side of Los Pollos Hermanos. 2 junglers taken away. A little bit of adaptation from both sides, seeing a little bit more adaptation, starting to see a little bit of adaptation from 4.5 enters. As we see a second jungler, Jarvan the fourth. Oh, maybe it's Sejuani taken away from DMK.
Yeah, Sejuani being a band that's been repeated, a character I'm personally really big fan of. But you know, it's that super engaged tank. They don't want to see that. Something that can really open up and get Jinx out of the match, hit that ultimate onto him. But it's not going to be something we'll be seeing today, or possibly next match. You never know. But at the moment, we're going to get that next pick. Here comes Nami getting hovered for the support to complement the smolder here. The fire and the water canceling each other out. And there we go. We're going to be locked in. Tidal wave is going to be coming their way down over to the 4 enters very soon.
Oh yeah, and now I want to take a look here at what Seraphos is going to play, because Seraphos has been such a pivotal point in the 4.5 Finters team plan. As we see the Zed hovered, this isn't really where Seraphos tends to like to go. I was expecting something more along the lines of the strong control mage. You know, the Azira's up. That's their second most played this season. That's what I expect them to pick. So I'm thinking that this Zed is going the way of Balak. Now, super
Oh,
interestingly, Balak has a 65% win rate with Zed in solo queue. This is one of his 2 mains. You know, he is traditional mid lane main, as oh my gosh, we see the Kassadin locked in for Seraphim going in a completely different direction. 2 lethal melee mid jungle, 2 lethal characters pick in the mid jungle. Zed for Balak and a Kassadin for Seraphos. Oh my gosh, this is adaptation.
you had to say the word solo queue. You said solo queue and you summoned the solo queue king Kassadin, man. He's up in your game. He's running down the lanes. But in a situation like this, I'm surely they're going to be a bit more kind of settled and well behaved, as we do have the Kassadin Zed double assassin. Holy. Okay, once again, though, we're going to see Wukong on the Rift, but this time on the other side, LPH picking up Wukong for themselves, taken away from Balak, who's already made his selections for the day. And there we go. We've got the full rosters on screen now. We can take a look. We can analyze and make some decisions here about what we prefer and what we think is going to work out. But yeah, it seems interesting. They're going to trade Nico and Wukong basically, and then pick up a couple more, huh?
Yeah, I mean, super great pick over the side of Los Pollos Hermanos, picking up the Wukong. The one question I kind of had in my mind as that Nami got picked in was, how do Los Pollos Hermanos force the fights? There's your answer. It's that Wukong. Wukong, you know, getting into the middle,
Oh,
getting onto that backline of 4.5 enters, and just ulting, knocking up everybody, getting these 2, 3, 4, 5-man ulties. That's how LPH want to play the game. It's going to be through DMK. Absolutely the player on the side of Los Pollos Hermanos to watch this game, as to see if, you know, he could really tear apart this 4.5 enters team tonight.
I think DMK had a really good start last game in the jungle. He racked up a couple objectives. He made his way down to the bot, got some good kills, along with getting the first blood for Yunara, I believe. So see if they can kind of keep that going this time and progress it to later stages in the game as well. Because it is tough when you got Balak, who I think is actually lane swapping this time, possibly. I did see a couple notes about that. But whoever the jungler might be for the 4.5 enters, they're going to have to keep toe-to-toe with him there on a different champion, of course. But Zed jungle is what we're expecting possibly, or I don't know. It's kind of all mixed up now. But it's exciting to see what they can do with these new changes here.
Oh
And
yeah, I mean, like
yeah.
the pick potential on the side of 4.5 enters, huge. Zed, lethal in late, mid to late, like I was saying before. You know, Balak, he usually likes to play the Zed in the mid lane, but you know, taking it to the jungle, he's gonna be perfectly in his comfort. This is his second most played. This is his highest win rate champion. This is who he turns to when he wants to win.
Oh,
And 4.5 enters, and this is a statement where I think 4.5 enters just want to close this game out 2-0, not give Los Pollos Hermanos any room to breathe. Melon, I'm excited for this game.
oh, most definitely, dude. You know, they're up a game, as you said, and you just want to close it out, get the nail in the coffin, pick one of your mains, bring them into the junk, see how it works. I do love seeing them up in the top lane here on the Malphite once again. It's going to be cool to see what they can do with that. It worked out very well last game. Compliments. Now they have the alt stack. It's a Nico plus a Malphite alt, as opposed to what they were doing earlier with the Wukong plus a Malphite. So once again, the large circles are going to CC their opponents and just get them out of the match. But now the big dynamic shift possibly. We got more Kaiser here for the top lane there. Maybe Ionian Tempest taking it possibly, or if they're going to do lane swapping on Lucian in Paris. But regardless of all that, more Kaiser is going to be able to take out the most important player and keep them in that 1v1 situation. Maybe my assumption is they're going to be clicking on Zed a couple times if they get pretty well ahead, right? Keep your carries in good shape.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, that Zed, Death Mark comes down onto the Smolder, onto the Talia. You know, if and I expect this Mordekaiser to go top lane into the hands of Ionian Tempest. You know, Ionian Tempest just has to sit right next to Lucian's in Paris or Angel Boy and just ult the Zed off of them. You know, that's so much time where the Zed, should be free hitting the backline carries, but is denied that possibility through this Mordekaiser pick. I like this Mordekaiser pick from Los Pollos Hermanos, but as always, 4.5 enters pick the Zed into the Mordekaiser. Means the signals to me that they have an idea of how they want to play around. Maybe it's through this Cassid, and maybe it's because we're just gonna get that monster engage with the Malphite Nico. Doesn't matter if you peel the Zed off my carries, we're just gonna kill you and we're just gonna roll right over you. Or maybe it's just avoid, dance around the Mordekaiser a little bit, have the Zed Cassid and come on the flanks. You gotta pick one. But there's only one Mordekaiser ult. You can't take the Cassid and the Zed both act off of your back line. And that's why I really like this mid-jungle pairing from 4.5 enters.
Man, you're right. Like the potential of that back line and disruption is just so high right here. We've got some disengage tools, of course, over on their side. Of course, we've been talking about more Kaiser, but there's other players to think about too. We've got the Nami here for 1261, someone who can hit the tidal wave, get that bubble boggle just onto whoever they need to hit, get that healing to kind of keep their guys in good shape. Wukong plays a bit back. The double clone ultimate can do a lot of peel for the team there. And then, of course, we've got long range options too. Smolder can really poke out with that bubble. They can poke out with that ultimate. If they get those stacks going, that stacked up ultimate can be so powerful. You do so much damage from so far away, keep your team in really good shape. Talia's got that option with the wall. Yes, there's lots of ways over the wall for the side of the 4.5 enters, but Talia wall can be kind of damning for someone like the Jinx. Jinx can't escape if they're trapped between like a rock and a hard place like that, and they don't have their Malphite to help them out or whoever else. There's lots that can happen here. And okay, let's talk about who we prefer here. So I was wrong last time. LPH's draft did not come out on top. I do like the draft this time around, but I love that we're seeing a lot of similar stuff on the side of Int, keeping the Malphite, keeping the Jinx. So I am preferring Int's team this time around. And for yourself, Will?
I'm going to have to agree with you on this one. Melon, as we're starting to, make their way onto the Rift potentially, again, this Jinx, Malphite, and strong team fighting, engage support on the side of 4.5 enters is just such a strong core. And now you're adding on two kind of assassins. We see First Strike coming out for both Balak and Seraphos, wanting to be the first ones to get on top of the backline carries of Los Pollos Hermanos. And what do you do if you're Los Pollos Hermanos? Yes, you can pull out the Nami wave. Yes, you can ulti off one of the assassins with the Mordekaiser. It's really going to be on the other one. But what do you do about the other one? It's really going to be on, Seraphos or Balak, the one who doesn't get Mordekaiser ultied, to kind of carry that fight, blow up the backline carries, blow up the Smolder, blow up the Talia.
Oh man, I'm so worried for the back line on LPH, but let's see what they can do and see how this early game goes. If their carries can get strong ahead, maybe they can be in good shape and all that. But you see some taunting coming out from Ionian Tempest and Panda hanging out at this river bush right now. But okay, bad faith Q as he walks up here. It's a bait. Balak is on the way here. What are they holding? Hopefully just Shuriken. Oh, that's good news. He can't catch up to him. But yeah, Ionian gonna lose a little bit of HP there. Do have some healing options, but that little wheel is gonna be coming out from the Panda very soon to deal some damage and accrue even more. Keep this pressure in the top lane here, but getting dangerously close. And there we go, to their buffs.
And I just love the confidence
Comet?
Ionian Tempest is playing. The confidence Ionian Tempest is playing with. you talk about gold leads. Seraphos had 4-item lead on Ionian Tempest in game 1. That's got to be super demoralized. But, you see in this first 2 minutes, Ionian Tempest is not afraid. He's not afraid. He's going to be confident. And that's exactly what you want to see when you're in a losing position. Not to get discouraged, but to, kind of pick yourself up, say, hey, what went wrong? Okay, maybe we'll get off the Yasuo. We'll go on to somebody who's a little bit tankier, can provide maybe a little bit more utility to my team in the Mordekaiser. That's exactly the mentality I like to see when you're down a game and facing match point.
Yeah, I love that choice of Mordekaiser, man. I'm a fan of the character personally. I think it's very cool. It's very present on the screen, looks cool visually and all that. Okay, Balak barely getting that last little wolf there, little pup. As you see DMK making his way to the Raptors here. Both junglers starting topside, of course, getting down towards the bot lane. Maybe it's going to be explosive there soon. Taking a look at the bot lane, though, you can see it's very pushed up on the mini map there in the favor of the 4.5 inters right now. And man, okay, this jungle pulling is awesome. Okay. So Zed's got some sauce in the jungle, huh? I personally haven't tried it before, and I've heard about it, but seeing it in action is pretty cool.
And yeah, and this is exemplifying one of the biggest strengths of Zed jungle, which is that first clear speed. Take a look. Zed just finished his red buff, while a DMK is only about to start, his 4th camp. He's finishing up those wolves, moving towards the blue buff. Balak is taking a 2-camp lead in this first clear. DMK is actually going to be, aggressively pushing up, skipping his entire bot side. And now Balak, he gets the tempo reset. As we see a little bit of action moving into the bot lane. Man skills force the flash away, will look totally okay. So it's kind of an even trade. You blow one sum on the side, a 4.5 inches, man skills goes down with the flash, but you get the tempo reset on your jungler. And on an assassin like Zed who wants to snowball, 2 longswords is going to make a world of difference.
Yeah, the damage is going to be so obvious as he makes his way up into the top lane here. Taking a look at Ionian Tempest at half HP. The Panda keeping the fight going. The bait is working out. Here comes Balak. Going to get Shadow in there. It is so easy. He's way too high up. There we go. The Teemo thumbs up for that first blood. All right, not bad. And it's on the Zed too. Okay, Balak looking really strong to start here. Also, good info from where DMK was earlier. He knows he gets his top crab. More than likely, he's not down that part of the jungle. And here we go. Damage coming up through here. The Ignite going to catch it. Moon getting that kill onto 1261. Support for support. And it's not over just yet, though. Sorry, DMK is actually coming down right now. He sees these people in low disrepair right now. No mana at the moment. He's got blue buff himself. He's just kind of flexing on him. There we go. Gonna catch someone. The clone's gonna do a bit of a handshake there as we do lose another one. Taking down man skills.
Yeah, I was gonna just talk about how, Balak is getting a little bit of the better of DMK, getting that increased tempo, managing to pull off this gank on Ionian Tempest. But again, like Caster Curse maybe, DMK gets it right back, manages to find a kill onto the flashless Jinx, punishing, that maybe early overstep as we see a little bit of that trading in the mid lane. Lucian's in Paris, gonna fall to about 2/3 HP. Not too worried. Procs a phase rush, runs away just fine from the Kassadin. You got to be feeling pretty comfortable if you're on the side of LPH, I think.
Yeah, LPH not looking too bad right now. Down a kill, but that's okay as we see the flash being lost here for Lucian's in Paris in the mid lane. Haven't been taking too much of a look there, but they are quite low at the moment. DMK making his way into his top jungle here. Going to walk over a ward, unfortunately. That's some info. Going to see the pings coming out. Fear for the top lane possibly, but they're so far in the mid. It's neutral. It's all good. Down in the bot lane though, pushed back as always. Unfortunately, LPH getting kept opposite of last game, honestly. Looks like whoever's got the Nico's in good shape. But here comes the ultimate for Lucian's in Paris. Gonna find Balak in the pit right now. Not going too well, getting surrounded by everybody and getting no value spent as, ooh, here comes the root on 1261. Gonna find the bubble in the disengage though. Oh man, but that Jinx Q might be it to close it out. Man skills and gonna clip him with the edge of the Nico, but that's gonna be it there. And here comes the drag. Great play for them. They're just getting so far ahead. We missed a fight in top lane here. Here's a bit of a replay right now. I know Tempest isn't going for it, but the Panda with that Doran's Ring, with that Arcane Comet, that little bit of pressure from those couple damage options is just going to be enough to poke out and complete the kill onto Ionian Tempest over the course of the top lane lifespan.
4.5 enters taking an absolutely great lead here in the first 5 minutes. We talked about before, how are we going to translate leads? This is how you translate leads. I mean, sure, Lucian's in Paris oversteps a little. Maybe ulties a bit aggressively towards the Zed on the dragon. Maybe didn't see the bot lane walking up or whatnot. and is adequately punished. Now you have a 700, 800 gold lead on your Zed, 2-0. Only player with the bounty on the Rift. Zed is so threatening. Mid lane flash is still down. Angel Boy had to blow his TP. These are resources being choked out from Los Pollos Hermanos. And I said you would feel good if you were Los Pollos Hermanos maybe 2-3 minutes ago, but now I think you're in such great shape if you're 4.5 enters. You got the solo kill in the top lane on the Malphite, neutralizing the Mordekaiser, neutralizing this pick that's supposed to shut down, your assassin carries on the side of 4.5 enters. Wonderful place to be, as we see a little bit of sidestepping going on in the bot lane. Otherwise, CS numbers pretty even, but I think 4.5 enters have a very firm lead in the first 8 minutes of this game.
Yeah, 2K lead right now. We see Alec very close to completing their first item as well. DMK taking down some vision control in the bot lane, finding his way down onto a crab. That's always valuable. Dragon not for a while though, so it's not the best. Up in the top here, we got the red buff going along. Anu and Tempest, like, dude, I can't talk enough about this Arcane Comet plus the wheel, man. It is nuts, dude. You're not even in the same area code as Anu and Tempest, and he's getting damaged. Such a shame, dude.
Oh, yeah, and the Panda just really able, again, like I said, being really able to neutralize the Ionian Tempest. And there we go. We see another Q come out from the Panda. He's built 0 MR. He's just as the Doran's Ring. As we see DMKE onto Seraphos. Here comes the ultimate from
counter
Malik.
gank.
And that's a one-shot. That's a one-shot as Seraphos falling super low. DMK looking to get that one kill onto Seraphos and will manage to claim it. Flashes out. Maybe we'll be able to escape. No. Balak Shadows comes back up. Gets the clean double kill, going to 4-0. Getting a little bit of a replay down here in the bot lane as Angel Boy maybe looking to get a kill onto Manskill's. Super aggressive posturing. Manskill's falling down to just 1 HP. The ult coming out, clipping Manskill's. Clean 2v2 kill down to the bot lane.
I was wondering why we went for that replay, but now we know. Yeah, amazing play by Angel Boy to put out the ultimate there, close it out. There's nowhere to run because that thing is huge, man. It's like the size of the whole damn lane.
Oh, yeah. Smolder calls for his mom. His mom's the big grown dragon. You can't dodge the big grown dragon. As we see a little bit of an ult coming up top from Lucius and Paris. The Panda just going to ulti out, say, nope, thank you. I don't want anything to deal with this. Balak getting those grubs, taking a 2-0 objective lead, pushing for those feats of warfare that we know are just so important in these games.
Yeah, upgraded boots are so awesome. Last game, it did go towards the side of LPH. It's on the road here for the side of the 4.5 interest, though. As, okay, you're going to get that hit there. Angel Boy going to get into offensive form, making his way up. Here comes the tidal wave. Going to get flashed, unfortunately, but is a resource going down for Manskills. A bit of an option for later as we try to keep it even as we can, but the lead is shortening slightly. It's under 2K now, so it's not the end of the world. And then we have Moon sneaking his way into here. Hopefully they buy it, but just gonna shoot it and move on with their days.
Yeah, and now taking a look back at the gold lead here, 1,300 gold lead over for the side of the Zed. That's almost your entire gold lead. We see a little bit of trading going on in the mid lane. Lucians and Paris, Seraphos, both falling a little bit under 50 HP, 50% HP. But all's well that ends well. Handshake agree. As we see DMK walking up, maybe looking to get a gank onto the Seraphos, but that Cassid and R just covers so much ground. He gets to play basically as safe as he wants.
Feels almost ungankable, to be honest, like just getting out of there with the ult, and mana is always in pretty good shape. He's got that Tear of the Goddess getting stacked up right now, getting towards his, I imagine he's getting his first items very soon. Dark Seal purchase for him as well over in the mid lane. Tickle in the bot lane here comes some more tricks. The snare is going to come out. Flash into a big ultimate from Moon here, but the counter damage, Angel Boy going all in to try and catch Manskills, and he succeeds but goes down himself. And then Balak makes his way back around. DMK in the area here. I don't know if he's discovered just yet. Gonna get clipped by the edge of the sweeper. Gonna flash, get that shadow out of there. But man, okay, 1-for-1 in the bot lane. A bit more money on the side of good old Angel Boy right now, though. So, and magical footwear in the inventory. So his speed is gonna be looking pretty good very soon.
I don't think you're that unhappy if you're on the side of Los Pollos Hermanos. I think you're a little bit disappointed if you're 4.5 enters. You had that surprise factor. They, Angel Boy and 1261 had no idea Balak was there in the bot lane. And looks like they have that LPH has no idea that Balak is here in the mid lane looking to blow the flash of Lucius and Paris. And this Zed has really been putting in work, blowing every single flash on the face of this planet. Feels like Los Pollos Hermanos has just had to burn flash off of cooldown because of this Zed.
Oh man, mana skills alone here as Angel Boy goes on offensive once again, making their way through. We do have 1261 trying to keep their buddy in shape. Okay, those couple small heals are gonna be enough to inch it out, but here comes the Panda making a world tour down to bot lane, zooming in all the way. Gonna see this cluster truck onto the opposing 1261. He is just surrounded by all sorts of opponents going down themselves. We do see DMK taking a little bit as the teleport goes back up. Great timing here, stop Ionian Tempest. He is all around. We do see Director Connect, Spectator Zero saying rock solid, and he is so right and warranted in his comments.
Oh my gosh, and this is kind of where you want it to be if you're 4.5 enters. You know, you get having your mid laner and your Zed kind of aggroing onto the back line of those players Hermanos. But then, you know, if you deal with those two, you got to deal with the Malphite, you got to deal with the Jinx, you got to deal with the Nico. I think the one saving grace for here for Los Players Hermanos is the fact that this Jinx is behind. You know, 3 kills to 0, 2 deaths to 4 deaths. That's a 15 CS lead. You know, almost 1,000 gold lead down there in the bot lane. Smolder is stacking. I think it's really going to be up on the Smolder to see if he can carry the game. All going to be on Angel Boy to see if he can farm up well, to survive a little bit of the Zed mayhem, and get to a point where it just doesn't matter anymore. You have too many stacks, and the stacks are just going to melt through your entire health bar.
Oh, they matter so much with some of the damage here. Oh man, that thing is just huge too. That poke potential. Moon around the edges here, trying to see what they can do, pretend like there's someone else. You know, that's an equal gameplay. Balak checking out the top lane here with the vision right now. But I want to really draw attention to Panda versus Ionian Tempest. Like, it's like a crazy top gap. Like, we've got Ionian Tempest trying to scrounge together some sort of minion control in the top lane, but we have Panda visiting bot lane, getting kills down there, teleporting back up top like he was never gone. Like, it is just going so well for him. And then the escape here for Lucians and Paris, gonna have to blow the ultimate to get out of there. Balak scaring him off, of course. But man, it is just national right now. The lead is looking really good too. The objectives going their way. We've got the upgraded boot options. The feats have been collected for the side of 4.5 enters right now, dude. Wait, with the name too, who is the half, man? Who's got the short straw on the team? Do we know the team lore?
I'm not sure. Maybe if we get a quick interview with the players after the game, we could maybe find that out. But we have no enters here on the side of 4.5 enters. Maybe you could call out the Jinx a little bit, down 0-4. But I think you're still pretty happy, you know? You are down 25 CS. Looks like LPH is going for maybe a dive, clearing the wave out.
Yeah, the rest of the team is flourishing, so it's not a big deal. The clone gonna find the opponent in the back bush here. DMK gonna have to walk away. He's been discovered, walking over a couple more wards. We do have Talia, Lucians, and Paris making their way down here. I don't think the ultimate is up just yet, so they can't be that explosive with it. But we're getting to a fight here. Here comes the ultimate from Angel. We're gonna find something. There we go. DMK going on in, gonna find the ultimate. Can they get some damage, taking someone down? Seraphos in the back here doing massive damage. They've been waiting. They've been thirsty all game for some action. So they're down here in bot lane, traveling, finding some kills. Double kill for Seraphos. Here we go, going down themselves. A Moon gonna wrap someone up here. Is Lucians and Paris in a 1v2 situations here under the tower, gonna get blown up. Balak finding a way, gonna hit the crying emoji to lock it out. Okay, slight victory there for the side of 4.5 enters.
4 for 2. That is exactly how you want to defend against those dives. Looked like Los Players Hermanos felt like, hey, you know, we have to press our lead where it hurts most. And where it hurts most is the Jinx. Jinx 0-5. Not exactly where you want to be, but it doesn't matter when you have the rest of the team backing you up. When you have the Cassidon roaming down to the bot lane. It doesn't matter when Balak blew Lucians and Paris' ultimate, you know, about 90 seconds ago. As we see a little bit of action going up here on the top lane as Seraphos TP's in, trying to take down Ionian Tempest, stacking up that ultimate a little bit. Ionian Tempest just going to fall. That's an 0-3 top laner. But like I was saying, back before, Balak blowing the ultimate of Lucians and Paris, meaning that he wasn't really able to get to the bot lane fight early enough. We see a little bit more posturing in the mid lane. Moon disguised minion. Lucians and Paris not going to be cool.
Yeah, it's worked sometimes, but here we go. The 1v1 sort of in the bot lane here. Once again, 1261 donating just a couple tiny heals to Angel Boy to keep him up and alive. In the mid lane, though, we do see Balak making a great escape there. They went so damn far with that clap back to the shadow. In the meantime, the Moon getting dangerously low right now. The Panda peeling off for him, keeping him alive. That's good. Keep some money out of the pockets of LPH right now. I believe we're doing a bit of a replay here. Going to see what happens while Balak was making his world tour. There we go. Making his way through the ultimate into possibly a flash. Yeah, that's going to be it to close out a kill on Lucians of Paris. Pop away. That's so far. In the meantime, though, we're getting back to live now. You can see what's going on in the bot lane. We see two dudes doing the group backing procedure. Gonna reset together. Laners reset together. It's a team effort.
Yeah, and it looks like the team effort's kind of going the way of 4.5 enters as Balak picks up this Rift Herald. Oh
hey,
my
wait a
gosh.
second. Wait.
Looks like he hasn't touched the eye yet. Is he gonna remember? Is anybody gonna remember? This could be the lucky break Los Padres Hermanos needs. As we see Ionian Tempest walk down. I don't know if they've noticed. We see some things coming out.
He pinged it. Yo. Do we know how long that lasts? Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Oh my gosh.
Not getting that, that objective that they were playing for. And that might be the saving grace for Los Padres Hermanos. I'm thinking my lucky star. If I'm on the side of LPH right now, I'm thinking my lucky stars. I'm down 4.5k gold already before 20 minutes before the Otacon spawn. And I just need maybe one lucky break. This could be that lucky break.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Missing the the Rift Herald pickup. Oh man, that doesn't happen too often, man. Usually they grab it. But you gotta just kind of respect Balak here. He's on the grind. He's too busy for stuff like that, dude. He's got kills to make. He's 6-0-1. He's all over the map.
Maybe you're not too unhappy about it, but in an ideal world, you always pick up that Herald 100 times out of 100. Looks like we're getting a little bit of posturing down here in the Dragon spawning. 4.5 enters, taking river control, autoing down that Scuttle Crab, going to get that vision, hitting the vision plant, seeing further into the bot side jungle of Los Padres Hermanos. Looking to, claim a little bit of that mid priority. As we see an ultimate come down on Angel Boy. Balak looking to one tap the Smolder, but it's all going to be okay. As we see the heal come out from 1261. And Angel Boy is going to leave with his life. He's going to leave pretty healthy with the heal coming out from 1261. But,
they're probably pretty happy about that.
Dragon.
Yeah, that works out pretty well for them, They scare them off initially, and the Dragon hasn't been taken yet. They lose that crucial Zed ultimate, which can lock a lot of people up. He's got a lot of CDR, though, so he'll be back on it very soon. Profane Hydra in the inventory there, of course. But we see Balak on the edges here. Quite low, unfortunately. Seraph Faust, very strong, though. They can go on in. They're going to opt for it. Here we go. Silence coming through, unfortunately, but they're going to dodge the bubble last second to get away.
And, that's a lot of pressure actually gone from the side of 4.5 enters. Balak not having his ultimate. Yes, ZR is one of those shorter cooldowns, but that's so much pressure relieved from the carries of Los Padres Hermanos. If you're Lucians in Paris and you're Angel Boy, you see the Zed blow his ultimate and not really get too much from it.
Oh, no.
You're
Seal time?
feeling pretty safe. We're seeing something come out here, and DMK secured the Dragon just fine. You can tell Balak kind of wanted to go in there, but without the ultimate, Zed threat just falls through the floor.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to make an escape without it. He would have had to spend his W shadow to get in there in the first place, which has been kind of tough. But in the top lane here, taking a look as always, Ionian Tempest a bit low on the HP. The Panda always got that good old Comet to try and get that damage going along, but they've just been all over the map. Teleport is up as well for both players, so they can respond to anything that could happen out on the other edges. But here we go, Balak making the way up here, visiting. Okay, preemptive ultimate. He doesn't even need the help. He's just here for moral support. It's like, you go, King, and he gets it. So there we go, back to the mid lane. Taking a look here, man, skills in here with Moon now. Moon hiding as any number of different minions or whatever. There we go, moving his way up. But Angel Boy unfazed right now. They know they're pretty tough themselves. They're currently the highest paid player on the team, dude. 532. They got the Infinity Edge, they got the Essence in the inventory there, so they're looking pretty tough.
And I wonder just how many stacks Angel Boy has. I'm not sure if that's something we're gonna be able to see pretty soon, but that Smolder ultimate, 190 stacks. It's only going to be 1 or 2 more minutes, just a couple of more waves before he hits that 225 breakpoint and going to get that Elder Soul. As we see a little bit of a die coming down, Lucius in Paris whips his W, gets ulted. Here comes Azanya's going to deny the death mark, but I'm not sure it's going to matter as he's still alive. But Seraphos manages just to finish him off. Clean dive, even through that Zanya's, as 4.5 enters look to take the Otacon.
Yeah, Otacon, your coveted buff, of course. Everyone loves it. Especially Will, though. Will is a huge propagator of this guy. As we make their way around, we're going to see a reset during it, unfortunately. So it's going to be 4v5 situation around here in the favor of LPH. They have more players on the board, but the teleport's coming back around here. They see it in the back line. They are worried right now. Seraphos is coming along. Here comes a Nico ultimate, going to catch some. Not much damage, but the stun is what really matters. Tidal Waves to disengage here. They're getting down towards the turret of the Panda, making his way through with the moving mountain. There we go. The ultimate from Angel Boy, going to find something, but Seraphos is going to shut him down themselves. Lots of low players on the side of 4.5 Inters right now. The turnaround is looking so strong. Here we go, 1261. Here comes the ultimate from the Lucians in Paris, making the way to the back here. Seraphos is going to turn around and wipe out the team while he's not looking. He was busy surfing while his boys were in trouble right now. He might be able to close this one out too. The quick burst damage to Seraphos is ridiculous right now. 924, wiping out almost the whole team right now. Holy, okay. All right, there we go.
9-2 for this Kassadin. Such a huge threat, as we see him posturing a little bit to work aggressively against Ionian Tempest. But wow, what a fight. You know, it started out looking in the, like, to the side of 4.5 Inters. They start to dive the turret a little bit. We find a nice Malphite ultimate onto the back line of Los Pollos Hermanos. Ionian Tempest manages to recover as he is recovering right now, you know, getting the Panda very, very low. One more Q is going to finish it out, but we see Moon walking up.
Nice.
Doesn't matter. Ionian Tempest gets a much needed kill. I just want to remind you, he was 0-3-0 just about 3-4 minutes ago, and now he's 3-4-1. This Mordekaiser is starting to get strong, taking a 1,200 gold lead over the Malphite. That's a scary Mordekaiser. But you know what else is scarier, Melon? This Kassadin. 3 items. Rabadon's death cap completed, 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. When we talk about threats, oh my god. And speaking about threats, it doesn't even matter. Angel Boy just gets one tap by the ballot. Looks like we're gonna get a little bit of replay to see what happens.
Yeah, missing a little bit of action in the mid lane here. That's okay though. We got the replay feature. As always, it's going to be the Zed ultimate coming through. Man skills wrapping up the kill though. 1261, Angel Boy both going down. Here comes the fire and the flames through the middle though. Not going to find anyone, just a bit of damage. And that's our replay for you. But man, okay, that bot lane fight was explosive. Saw a lot of people turning heads there, trying to find kills that they could. Seraphos really looking good. Ionian Tempest, as he mentioned, finding some kills themselves to kind of wrap up some better score from the Riftmaker is a really big power spike that they got way earlier, of course. But with that, good old Leandries and the Scepter that slows you. Oh my god, the name. But we're back on to the Otacon right now. Taking a look. There's no contesting going on, unfortunately, right now. And that's going to be it for the blue team. We're going to see 4.5 Inters picking it up and looking extra strong.
We were talking about before in draft how it's really on whether or not 4.5 Inters can blow up the Los Pollos Hermanos backline. More specifically, we're talking about there are 2 assassins, this Kassadin and the Zed. It's going to be the job of Ionian Tempest to peel off one of them off the backline, you know, get that ultimate down, take away the Zed, take away the Kassadin, but you can only pick one. But it's really the lesser of 2 evils here, Melon. You've got the Zed who's 7-1, or the Kassadin who's 9-2. You got to pick your poison. As 4.5 Inters turn to the Dragon, mostly uncontested are going to go up to Soul Point. That's a Mountain Drake. That's a Mountain Drake threatening the Mountain Soul in just 5 more minutes. You know, 30 seconds on Baron. Plenty of objectives here for 4.5 Inters to take and expand their now 6,500 gold lead.
Man, the first soul of the night could be on the map, dude. This is gonna be pretty good. And then, you know, Elder Drake is what follows beyond that. We'll see if the game goes that long. Right now, it is quite a big lead of 6K for the side of 4.5 Inters, of course. And they are closing out the map little by little, getting those turrets. But they've been doing a good job on LPH, keeping their turrets alive right now. They've got all their tier 2s. They even got a tier 1 down in the bot lane right at the moment. So let's see how they do as they make their way around. Baron is that big push buff that they covet, of course. They got the Otacon as well, which is going to give them extra money and extra rewards from these different objectives that they can pick up. There are going to be bounties, of course, too. You know, we only see 1 shutdown left. That's going to be Seraphos carrying a 700 gold option.
And look at that. I want to point in one item in Seraphos' inventory. It's the Medjai's.
Yeah.
You see, Balak is kind of invisible, maybe looking to go in. Ultis onto 1261. And 1261 pops the wave. Doesn't matter. There's just too much damage on the Zed. As Angel Boy's posturing a little bit aggressively, looking to maybe has the 225 stacks. And as Ionian Tempest ultis Balak, and there's not a lot the Zed can do, as he's just kind of getting stat checked by the Mordekaiser. But look, 4.5 Inters look to turn. As Ionian Tempest is falling lower and lower, the ulti comes out from Moon, gets a stun onto one. Seraphos, though, is now onto the back line. Flashes and one-shots Angel Boy. That's your entire DPS gone. Lucian's in Paris. Not a lot that Jalea can do against the Jinx, the Malphite, and the Kassadin. That's a 5-for-1. That's exactly what you want to see if you're 4.5 enters as they turn towards the Baron.
Man, wiping out the whole team. A bit of HP left on themselves as well, so they can definitely get this Baron done. They got the ward on, that's okay. The only one spawned up is 1261 at the moment, so it's gonna be the 2-man here. And Seraphos' DPS is pretty big. They gotta watch out though. This stacking damage from Baron could hurt quite a bit. Gonna check out this area instead. Get that recall. Get that living ward pressure, of course. 1261 doing some dewarding themselves. They might get blown up if they aren't careful here. Oh my gosh, the damage is just so powerful right now. Here comes a bubble to try and wrap up a couple of these Raptors, but not going to work out. In the meantime, though, the Baron is getting steadily and taken down. There we go. Going to go for 4.5 enters. Wrapping up the Baron. Every player is going to be alive to receive the buff as well. So now this is their option, the Baron power play. They've got the power to just hit all these lanes, get stuff done. They have a lot of turrets to churn through, though. There's a lot of work to do if they want to get that win.
And that's really the saving grace for Los Poros Hermanos. It's going to be such a struggle. I mean, look at that Kassadin. Has the upgraded tier 3 boots. Going to, stop that magic damage. As we see, Balak just ulting onto Angel Boy. Angel Boy flash, force the flash away. Not sure it's going to be enough. Balak blows his own flash himself and just one taps the smolder. There was barely any counterplay. Angel Boy blew every resource that he had, but it didn't matter. Balak is just too strong. And that's not even talking about, this 20 Magi stack Kassadin. You finish one. There's bigger fish to fry, as they say. And this Kassadin, they just need to represent some sort of answer. As 4.5 enters, pushes in, looking to maybe potentially threaten an end. As Lucian's and Paris down the bot lane, is forced to blow the flash, blow the Zhonya's, and Seraphos just needs to ult one more time as he escapes with just a sliver of HP with the ultimate. But that's not what you want to be doing with your Taliyah ults.
Yeah, running away is such a shame, but staying on the map for this defense procedure is going to be really important, of course. We do see the back coming out from Seraphos, back to the base, get some items, maybe heal up a little bit. Ionian Tempest is going to rally to kind of stop this bot lane push right now. Stuff the Man Skills, Moon, the Panda, they're all going to just wrap them up with a bunch of different CC. Great tidal wave to try and keep disengaged right now. They are in the death realm, though. It's going to be Panda versus Ionian Tempest, the rivals from top lane. The damage is super commanding from Tempest, but it's not going to be enough as he runs out of time, and those wheels just going to keep him away at the moment.
And this is really Los Poros Hermanos' attempt at a last stand. That's a 11,000 gold lead for the side of 4.5 enters, and you see some of the critical defensive items coming down for 4.5 enters, like Balak with his Guardian Angel, like the Seeker's Arm Guard for the Kassadin. You already had such a problem trying to shut down these lethal assassins. Now they have access to defensive items on top of being able to just one-tap you whenever they feel like it. This is such an uphill battle for Los Poros Hermanos. As we see, Balak ulting onto 1261, looking to maybe get the one-shot. Looks like it's going to be close.
Okay.
1261 escapes with just a sliver of HP. Lucky, if you ask me.
It's one of the few times someone survived that death sentence, of course. So here we go. We are into a fight now, though. Lucian's Paris getting taken out by Balak on the front of the fight. Going to move the camera up here. Take a look. Moon getting close as they can. Can't find too much of a stomp, but the players in his path are already dead for the moment. DMK didn't disengage with the Wukong ultimate, but it's not going to work too well as there's just so much CC coming his way right now. Ionian Tempest come back around here, but 2v5 defense to save the game is going to be kind of hard. Ionian Tempest is tough, but not tough enough as Seraphos getting quite low. Here comes the Zhonya's to waste his time. Sad face cat gonna be thrown out there from the emote, and that is gonna be it for the length of Ionian Tempest's life there. There we go. 1261, last defender alive on the rift.
Looking like 4.5 enters making their statement. Two commanding games to close out this series. We're talking about what a dominant performance that we want to see, a strong closeout, and we got a strong closeout. That's a 14,000 gold lead. You see in 4.5 enters, close out the series 2-0 and move to the semifinals. What a game.
Yeah, congratulations, dude. Congratulations to the 4.5 enters, man. It turns out you can just have 4.5 players to get it done, bit of a disparity there. But yeah, Los Poros Hermanos coming out with a really strong showing in that first game, doing their best in the second game too. It's tough though when you have like guys who are like lifetime Z mains coming around, just hitting you with their ultimates. I think it was only survived once in the entire match near the end there. The Nami barely got out, but it's tough, man. Like snowballed Zed, and good job to Sarah Faust coming back into the spotlight in the second half of the game too. They had that really dominant bot lane fight to find some damage and some money for their pockets, and even sitting at like a huge like shutdown available the entire match.
Oh yeah, Seraphos for me was the player of the match. On the Mel in the first game, dropping like double-digit kills, kind of both games. The Mel super high DPS first game, super long range. This game on the Cassidon, getting right up in your face, just one tapping the back line of Los Pollos Hermanos. Not a lot of counterplay either way, but like you said, big props to 4.5 enters, more like 5 just really strong players. That was such a statement made. And I think whatever team faces them in the semifinals should be scared.
Yeah, we're gonna miss these guys, man. Los Poros Hermanos, they were pretty sick, dude. And we got the 4.5 enters heading on to the next round, as we've been saying, semifinals. We're coming to the end of these intramurals. It's been a pleasure to see how all these teams have progressed and everything like that. And they won't be missed because we'll be back. There's more intramurals during the year. There's more options for these teams to play. Lots of different ways that we can showcase them and see how the players are doing. And I'm sure everyone in the chat is enjoying their presence tonight. But yeah, before we go, how do we feel about any other teams in the bracket? Are you familiar with anyone else that's around the bracket, Will, or who are we looking at?
Not at the moment, but 4.5 enters will move to the semifinals and play the winner between Team 3,
Okay.
name, and Team Off Roll.
Oh,
We're gonna be back tomorrow with another best of 3 game we're gonna be back tomorrow with another best of 3 game. I believe this one is between. I'm not sure who this one is between entirely. I can maybe double check pretty quick. But regardless, tune back in tomorrow. Lots of exciting League of Legends. If you like today, you're gonna like tomorrow, just as much.
yeah. Thanks for coming through, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. We got the stream starting at 9:30, I believe. So have a good night. And League of Legends fans, CFT fans, we'll see you very soon. Have a good night.